So I'm going to be covering the fifth and final TED Talk extra credit video. So for a brief synopsis about what the speaker talked about was pretty much that women are stuck in the middle of management jobs in business and organizations, and pretty much there's a very much of a lack of women moving up into higher, bigger positions, and women are not given the advice to hone the business skills needed to move up and financial skills, and that they're only given skills and advice on how to communicate effectively and confidence skills. And she also discussed how guidance is very different from men than it is for women, because women are taught to be more confident because they are assumed to not be as confident as men. And men are learning the business aspects of the company because they are already assumed to be confident and well honed in on their personal and communicative skills more than women. So the problem that the speaker pretty much addressed was that there's a lack of women, not necessarily representation at the top of the management positions, because she did say that there were about 33% of women in the top of management positions, but that there was a lack of advice given to women on how to achieve the goal of closing the gender gap and to reach the top of management positions. Because even though there are 33% of women at the top of the management positions, that is still 67% of men. That is a big difference between, and that is not equality. So she's pretty much just solving the problem of getting women to advance more in their jobs and work opportunities and how to do that. And so the advice that the speaker gave to women, that the women are just plain not receiving when they get jobs or trying to get jobs that would help them get promoted to the higher management positions instead of having to learn it by themselves, which would take a lot longer. Whereas men get the advice from the start, is that they are only receiving about 60% of the advice that men receive. And they are not receiving business, strategic, and financial acumen advice, whereas they are only receiving advice on communication skills and how to communicate with customers, and confidence skills, and personal goals instead of business goals and financial goals. So pretty much what the business, strategic, and financial acumen means is that women are not being taught how to move the organization that they work for forward, and in the business and financially wise. So they are only taught how to move the business forward socially and with customers, but not actually financially wise. And pretty much to put this into a perspective, this outweighs the need for confidence and communication skills, because the speaker said that she's not trying to diminish or belittle the need of those skills, because those are needed, but that at the end of the day, you would much rather take business financial skills over confidence and communication skills, because a lot of people, stereotypical people that are put in, for example, like movies or TV shows, that are at the top head, typically men, they normally are jerks and they have no skills on how to communicate with people, and the people at the bottom do know how to do those things, but they're not at the top. So at the end of the day, the person could be a terrible person. They could not know how to talk to people. They could not know how to work with customers, but they still will be at the top because they provide financial results for the company, and eventually that will push the company forward. It'll probably be a lot harder because they don't have those skills, but at the end of the day, those are the most needed skills out of communication and confidence skills. And that is pretty much why women are not getting promoted, because their personalities or willingness to work with other people is more prioritized over their need for business and financial strategies on how to get forward. And the speaker claims that the conventional career advice that women is given is not closing the gap, because they are only giving the mentors. Actually, she said that a mentor came out and said that subconsciously he was mentoring women and men a lot differently than he was realizing, pretty much, that he was realizing that he was doing that. He would tell women how to be more confident and assertive because he had assumed that women needed that advice, while telling men the business strategies, how to better the company, how to get ahead financially, things like that, instead of telling women that as well. So there was a statistical evidence that only 33% of the women are at the top of the management positions, and that is why, because they are not receiving the advice that they need to receive in order to get to those top of those positions. And the mentors are failing the women who are interested in reaching the top of the organizations to get the high management positions, because they are only giving the women personal skills to hone on instead of business skills and financial skills needed, which will eventually get them to succeed. And there was another statistic that she mentioned that only 37% of businesses believe that they have strategic alignment in place, which pretty much means that only 37% of the businesses in the US believe that everyone at their company, low, middle, and high positions, everyone believes the exact strategic and strategies that they need to further the business in their financial goals and business goals. So pretty much only about 37% of the businesses believe that everyone is on the same exact page of where to get the business where it needs to be in the future. And that is a majority because of the mentorship declining, of not offering women the correct advice on how to actually further the businesses and organizations that they work for and to actually get promoted. So the solutions of how to get women promoted and how to further their jobs that they work for was, it is important for executives and the top management positions, no matter what gender, to discuss the need for financial skills and business skills with all of the company. Small workers, middle workers, and high workers. If you only discuss that with the high workers that are already in place, the middle workers that are going to move up there are just the ones that they're only going to get the advice from the mentors and not the executives that they actually work for. And they need to ask the question, what will give women business experience? Because that is often the response people hear from not getting a job, is that they don't have enough business experience. And women don't have enough business experience because they are just plain not getting it. They are not going to get the business experience because they don't know how. So to examine the mindset to create the level playing field for every single gender is to pretty much discuss the need for business and financial skills. And at the end of the day, even if that is not happening, women need to speak up about what they need to learn on the business and financial side of things, as well as the personal and communicative skills needed, because all of those things are needed to progress an organization forward. Again, the personal and communicative skills are important. However, they are also needed with business and financial skills.